Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the 4th generation of the Nissan X-Trail, and in today's video I'm going to be telling you 4 reasons why you should not be buying this car. Okay, don't get me wrong. This is a fantastic car. It's a lovely car, this X-Trail. In fact, it is the 5th most selling SUV in the world. That's how popular it is, and it looks phenomenal as well. However, Nissan has decided to give us a model which nobody wants in the world. Yes, Nissan is actually taking leftover stock and dumping it in India, because the one we are getting in India obviously doesn't have a lot of features and also does not get the strong hybrid powertrain. To validate all this, I have come all the way to the UK and have got my hands on a Nissan X-Trail right here to tell you exactly what is different. For starters, let's open the engine bay of this vehicle, because right here we have got a strong hybrid engine. It says Nissan e-Power. In fact, if you notice, the airbox is bigger than the engine because the engine is tuned into 1.5 litre unit. There is no battery here. You know why? Because it's in the boot. There's insulation right there, and this feels super duper light. It's quite surprising it is that light here. And the design is as per Nissan's latest design language. You get the double V motion grille, you get thin LED DRLs right here, and obviously the main lights are positioned right here. So this is the low beam, this is the high beam, and you can hear a weird sound right now because obviously this is a strong hybrid. So yes, this is the indicator, which is not LED, so they call it complete LED, but it is not complete LED because it is actually halogen, the indicator. That's kind of weird. And this grille actually opens and closes. You know why? For better breathing and for better aerodynamic efficiency as well. You get parking sensors at the front. There's a camera here. Radar is placed right behind this. Meanwhile, there you get the camera for the lane keep assist. But surprisingly, the India model actually has the hardware, but it has not been activated for India. That's weird. Now they are actually having ADAS but not giving customers ADAS, although the customers are paying for the hardware. Now you get this nice chrome line. I mean, the car just looks super duper smart. You also get air curtains which are very much functional. Yeah, you can see through that as well, which is quite nice. And in terms of length, this car is actually shorter when compared to its predecessor. Yeah, the length has decreased. However, the wheelbase remains the same. So the length is more than 4.7 meters, slightly more than 4.7 meters. The wheelbase happens to be around 2.7 meters. And this being the 4th generation model is basically not available in diesel anymore. So e-power is extremely crucial, which this particular car is having. Ironically though, Nissan had actually showcased this car in India almost 2 years back, and they had showcased the e-power model, but they got us the mild hybrid with 12 volt. What the fluff. The wheels here are actually smaller, but the one in India gets bigger wheels. 255 45 20s is the size of the tires in India. This is a 235 60 18. So higher sidewall is actually good because the ride quality of this vehicle is not that great. Alloy wheel design is actually nice. You get this body cladding, you get a camera here, and you get this floating roof treatment because of this line running all the way to the back. The rear windows are tinted in the UK because you're allowed to do that, not so much in India. Now what Nissan has done is taken the base variant of the engine, which nobody wants, and given it 3 packages. One is the wheel package, the other is the cluster package, and third is the sunroof package, which can be added anywhere in the world for this particular car, wherever it is sold, because this is the flagship car of Nissan in Europe, because they obviously do not sell the Murano, which is more of a US centric model, because that's not available in right hand drive. Okay, UK runs right hand drive, Europe runs left hand drive, and obviously the petrol isn't sold here either. So other crucial bits which are missing on the India model is of course e-power and e-force. No 4-wheel drive available for the India model, which again is a shock if you ask me. Boomerang style tail lamps, which actually look quite nice. This is the rear fog light. Meanwhile, the indicator is here. Again, it is a bulb, so weird cost cutting has been done. Get a towing hook here. You get 4 parking sensors, and that is the exhaust of the vehicle. Is there one on the other side? No, not really. Now let's quickly open the boot of this vehicle. And it is actually a decent sized boot. Firstly, let me open this parcel shelf, and then I am going to remove that parcel shelf because obviously this is a 7-seater. Now the toolkit is placed here. That is for the tire pressure. Inflator is here, and you get the toolkit here as well. And then I can open it further right here because that is where the battery has been placed. Maintenance free battery, right? So they have just positioned it in the boot. Now to operate all this can get a little tricky because it's a bit too clustered, and I'm just going to put this back into place. Now we have got the 7-seater model in India, but it's of no use because 7 seats are of no use here. There's no space at all. I'm just going to remove this right now and just going to put the seats up. Yeah, now obviously I've put the seats all the way ahead. That's why you can see some amount of space is there. Let's pull this back up. Yeah, the adjustable headrest. Let me pull it on both the sides. By the way, you get cup holders here. You get a 12-volt charging socket right here and light placement here as well. You know, the India model has identical, yes, absolutely identical. Okay, it has a recline angle to it. This is upright and this is reclined. Yeah, identical upholstery as well, because they are not offering us leather seats in India. So again, another bit of cost cutting. There is no powered tailgate either. Yeah, this is also the base variant, but the base variant here is actually having e-force and e-power. Can you believe it? Alright, e-force is sort of optional. You get rear discs obviously, and let's get inside. Shark fin antenna looks cool enough. Now when I put the seat all the way ahead, there's absolutely zero space. Zero means zero space. I'm going to push the seat behind and look at the amount it moves. And I'm also going to recline this. Yeah, this also reclines, not by much. And then I'm going to push it ahead and show you that there's absolutely no space for an adult. These seats are absolutely useless. Why did Nissan even give it? I don't know. 7-seater option. Why is it there? Getting in and out is absolutely difficult. Yeah, it is a big challenge here. This is not even for children. It's not even for aliens. I don't know. It's maybe for ants, because once I put this, okay, it's already, no, there is no space. What was Nissan thinking? In fact, under-thigh support is extremely poor, and there's a light placement here. No AC vents. It feels super claustrophobic. Get me out of here, please. Just get me out of here. What is this? I'm just going to push this ahead. Getting in and out is super duper difficult. In fact, the boot carrying capacity is also decreased when compared to the third generation model. So Nissan has actually reduced the size of the car. I don't know why. Finally, we are out. They should have just offered us the 5-seater version. I don't know why they took the pain of launching the 7-seater model in India, because honestly, the last row is just the most useless one I've ever seen in my life. Meanwhile, height adjustable seat belts here. You get 7 airbags in this car. Okay, this is a bit scooped out. You get magazine holders. Legroom is fine. Under-thigh support is again poor here. You get a USB-C and a USB-A charging socket. There's a slight hump right here, and you get these fabric seats in this car, which is definitely out of place for a car of this price. How did Nissan not think of opting for leather? That's beyond me. Door pockets are decent size, but it's not lined here, which is again very surprising, because that's something you would definitely expect, right? Okay, we have fabric, we have a lot of hard plastic, so they should have used some soft materials here or there. In fact, the dashboard looks definitely awesome in this car, but now what is happening is they are offering us black interiors in the newer models. With older models like the one I'm sitting on and sitting in, and this is obviously the base variant, they're offering this sort of a dual tone color treatment, but outdated stuff is being sent to India, and all the basic stuff has been sent to India, not the high variant, which really makes me angry that we have been treated like third-class citizens. Anyways, let's get outside. Now, anyway, I just can't say that out loud, because I feel if Nissan prices this car under 30 lakh rupees, then yes, they have done a fantastic job. I will bite back all my words. But if this car is priced above rupees 40 lakhs, it's just a disaster. Doors open really wide. In fact, they open 85 degrees. That's very wide opening door. That's crazy. And I can also pull this lever and put the seat down. Yeah, all this can be done. Let me try this again. Okay, let's pull this. Yeah, it just puts it down, and that actually brings me to another party trick of this car, because when I pull this here, I need 2 hands to operate a few things in this car, because everything feels so stiff. I obviously get twin cup holders here, and I think a phone holder as well. That's actually a good thing. Let's shut this. I don't know why they did not offer us so many things which they should have offered us. Yeah, cost cutting to entirely different level. It says Nissan Intelligent Mobility X-Trail. Just imagine a car company launches a car in India. It has all the hardware for ADAS, but Nissan is like, hardware hai, software bhi hoga, activate nahi karenge. That's the kind of taking for a ride Nissan is doing for Indians right now, and I feel sad for it, because Nissan is a fantastic company and this car is absolutely phenomenal. What a beautiful car, amazing. So like I was telling you, they've given it the sunroof package. That's the reason we get a sunroof in India, a dual pane one, because without a sunroof this car will definitely not sell. There are no electric seats here. Everything is manual adjust. Can you believe that? Nissan has also cut costs right there, and door pockets are decent sized, but again no lining here. Thankfully there's illumination on all the switches, and one touch up and down is there here, which is kind of a nice thing, but those hard plastics irk me out. This is obviously for ADAS, which is missing in India, and you get a proper dead pedal as well. You actually get paddle shifters in India, because we get the mild hybrid, and with the mild hybrid you should be able to change your gears at times, right? And there's some storage space here, and if you notice, it says Nissan on the inside, established in 1933 in Yokohama. That is also written, so I like that Easter egg for sure. Seats are decent, a bit stiff, not the most comfortable, and I think this is the lumbar adjustment for the co-driver. The driver is not getting any of that. I love the dashboard. I think it's just amazing, but the key is super duper cheap. Like, this is the key of the vehicle. This is to unlock the car, this is to lock the car, and there's the Nissan logo, and I think this is a dummy button. What is this key? Very weird. This car cannot compete with the Fortuner, because the Fortuner and Kodiaq are actually longer. They have a longer wheelbase as well, and obviously have a lot more features. The Kodiaq definitely has a lot more features. Toyota is a Japanese company just like Nissan, so they don't offer any features only. You even get the option of a 10.8-inch heads-up display, which is obviously missing in this car, because higher variants are available with that, but that has not been offered in India as usual. Seat ventilation, not there in India. Higher variants get the option of seat heating, which is obviously not needed in India. The glove box is actually decent size, and you have to see the manual. It is so thick. Look at the size of the manual. Well, that's what she said. I think Nissan has listed down all the features which it offers in the higher variants in this manual, which are obviously not offered in India. Yaar, what is happening? I'm so upset. And you get double stitching, you get soft touch material here, which is a good thing. Now in India, another big problem is we get the smaller 8-inch screen, because that's the one which is offered in the base variant with the mild hybrid. However, this being the base variant with e-power actually gets the bigger 12.3-inch screen. Nissan actually showcased us the bigger screen in India and launched this one with the smaller screen. That makes no sense. You get an auto dimming mirror here, you get a sunglass holder here, you get light placement here on the top, you get a mirror and light here, mirror and light here, which is a neat touch. Did I miss the light? No, it's there obviously. And obviously you have got twin cup holders right here. You've got some storage space here as well, so it's practical. And in India we get a wireless charging pad, which is not there in this car. USB-C, USB-A, 12-volt charging socket. This is the engine start button. Now the funny thing is, Apple CarPlay is wireless, however Android Auto is actually wired. The gear lever is different in India. They could have used the same gear lever for the mild hybrid as well as for the strong hybrid, but this being the strong hybrid has a slightly different gear lever. Electric parking brake, auto hold function. Now it has got multiple drive modes, like off-road mode, like a snow mode is here, which is not there in the Indian model because that's front wheel drive. However, this one gets an additional snow mode. Otherwise you have the regular sport, normal and eco modes right there. Now it gets dual zone climate control air conditioning system, which is fantastic, very easy to operate. And when I come to the screen, I realize this screen feels so much better when compared to the one offered in India, because I've been driving the Nissan Juke right now and that screen sucks. It feels like the Bajaj Freedom screen has been stuck here. Not much again when compared to the Koreans, but you obviously get navigation. I think connected car bit is also there, and you get a lot of apps and all those things as well. You get a surround view monitor, which is basically 360-degree parking camera. You got some physical buttons as well. I'm just going to turn on the camera here. So yeah, that is the camera view, and if I press it again, it will give me a side view too. So yes, the camera system is actually decent, but the quality of the camera could be a lot better. Now they have given us the cluster package in India, because of which we get this cluster. Otherwise you would get a 7-inch multi-information display in the center, an analog tachometer and speedometer, but thankfully they have given us that package. Now here, if you notice one thing, everything is digital. Screen seems nice. You can browse through a ton of information here. So obviously there's a compass, driving information, energy flow is here, and I mean, it's a loaded screen. But if you want to make any setting changes to the car, well, you have to definitely go through this particular screen. Usually what happens now, when you want to make setting changes, you have to do it with the infotainment system, but not with Nissan. Nissan is like, we will do it in this driver screen as well. There's a tire pressure monitor as well. So all that is obviously given here. The steering feels nice to hold. These are the controls for the cruise control system. It's got ADAS, but in India we don't get ADAS. I don't know why. I am just so baffled. And steering is adjustable both for reach as well as rake. I like the fact it has got soft touch material, but a lot of hard plastics lower down. Co-driver can also lock and unlock the vehicle, which is a good thing. Seats could have been better. Come on, leather at this price is something you would definitely expect. So yeah, cost cutting of a different level here. Let me shut the car. It makes this sound and then it shows me exactly which door is open. Let me turn on the car. Does it show some animation? Yeah, it definitely shows this nice animation as well. It also shows me the blind view monitor there. So yeah, see, it says blind spot, lane, forward collision warning. All those ADAS functions not offered in India. Crazy, nah? Anyways, all this aside, how is the driving experience any different? Because this is obviously the better, more efficient, more powerful engine, which is obviously not offered in India. Off we go. So the highlight in this car is the engine. It is just next level engine because this is a 1.5 liter turbocharged petrol engine which is actually having the world first variable compression. It's a 3-cylinder unit, and on paper you'll be like, 1.5 liter, what can you do? But trust me, it's phenomenal. So what they have done is they have given it an adjuster on the crankshaft which is able to vary the length of, and I mean it can lengthen or shorten the piston's sweep, thereby altering how much area it covers, and because of which it alters the compression ratio between 8:1 under heavy loads to 14:1 under light loads. And this is the reason because of which it has variable compression, which is the first in the world. Yes, Nissan actually has a patent for this, which is quite amazing. Now, because this engine has variable valve technology, it can also work on the Atkinson cycle when driven on a light load. So that is the interesting part. But before that, let me change the drive mode. There's no this standard, eco and sport. In fact, there's also an off-road mode because this has got all-wheel drive capabilities because it has got dual motor setup. But we'll come to that in a bit. Let's first actually talk about the engine we are getting in India, which is the 1.5 liter mild hybrid. Mild means super mild here because it's a 12 volt, not even a 48 volt. It does only two things. One, it smoothens the start-stop system, and the other is it gives a 6 Newton meter boost under heavy acceleration. That's about it. Nothing more than that. So it's just like namesake. Don't even know why the mild hybrid exists, but yeah, it does. And this particular mild hybrid engine produces 163 PS of power and 300 Newton meters of torque, going from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in around, okay, let's just make a lane change quickly. Yeah, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 9.6 seconds, top speed 198.4 kilometers per hour, but in the real world you will cross 200 kilometers per hour because of the speedo error. So not very impressive an engine, made it to a CVT gearbox. Obviously it has a rubber band effect. It is smooth, but it is kind of slow, but then it gets the job done. And then come the strong hybrid. There are actually two options for the strong hybrid. One is just with the front motor, which basically produces 201 horsepower and 330 Newton meters of torque, goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 8 seconds and has a top speed of 170 kilometers per hour. The same front motor is also used in the dual motor setup because the front motor remains the same. At the rear, you have a 134 horsepower motor along with 195 Newton meters of torque. So if you add both of them, technically it should be 330 horsepower peak output. No, not at all. Instead, the peak output happens to be 210 horsepower, so 9 horsepower boost when you go for all-wheel drive or the dual motor setup. But torque output is still 525 Newton meters of torque, because of which acceleration is absolutely brisk. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour here takes just 7 seconds. Top speed is 180 kilometers per hour. Yes, it is slower than the CVT. Okay, this is a single piece gearbox because this is basically a strong hybrid, whereas the engine's responsibility is just to ensure that it supplies power and charges the battery. That's it. It never powers the wheels. So it is very similar to the one on the Honda City. Yeah, that's how it actually works. And the whole system actually works very smoothly thanks to the way everything has been calibrated so beautifully well. But you need to understand one thing: the engine can become very loud. It can become very, very, very vocal under heavy load when it's trying to charge the battery up. So that's a bit of a hiccup. But that said, it is a fantastic engine. Like, we really need the strong hybrid in India because that is what is the USP of this car. I completely agree that the variable compression turbocharged engine is phenomenal. In fact, it has patents, and I think the code is KR15DET. I don't even remember the code right now, but the hybrid system is known as B48. Isn't that a BMW term? How are they even using it? Jokes aside, the main thing is that we are not getting the strong hybrid in India, and strong hybrid definitely improves the efficiency. However, it's not really improving the efficiency as much as you expect or would want. Somehow it's not working as per what is shown on paper, so that's a bit of a hiccup. Now I can understand how the whole idea is about pricing. So if Nissan prices this car aggressively in India, it's okay, it's fine, it's forgivable if they don't give us the strong hybrid. But they really need to price the car extremely aggressively in India. The ride at low speeds is not that great. I can feel a little bit of movement here and there, and it's very uncomfy. Yeah, the ride is actually quite uncomfy at lower speeds, although it does smoothen out at higher speeds and becomes a bit floaty there. The steering is light. Yes, it is quite light, a steering wheel. It has decent amount of weight. it's not very feelsome. I mean, there's no feel or feedback as such, artificial steering wheels, but this steering wants to center very aggressively. That's something I've noticed with recent Nissan model. The steering just wants to center super duper aggressively and fast as well. There is body roll. It is on the softer side, so it's not a car you would really enjoy driving, but considering the weight of this car, 1900 kgs to be precise for this particular car, because of the battery obviously, which is a 2.1 kilowatt hour battery, which is net 1.97 kilowatt hour. It feels easy to drive. The view around is also awesome. There's some wind noise which comes from the mirrors. In fact, at lower speeds you can hear the suspension. As you speed up, you can hear a lot of road noise as well. So not the best insulated car as such, but then I'll not really complain much about it, considering I really like the interiors. I think the interiors are absolutely fantastic here, and now there is no diesel engine anymore. I think last generation had a diesel engine. The third generation model never made it to India. We had the second generation model. In fact, the X-Trail was the car which started Nissan's India journey. I think it came as a CBU. Then they assembled it in India. And when I compare this car with the car which was sold like more than a decade back, I realized that was far superior in terms of features. It was also locally assembled in India, which means Nissan was more serious back then than they are right now. Which kind of makes me wonder, what is Nissan doing by launching the X-Trail in this variant, non-hybrid or mild hybrid, because it just doesn't impress there. You really need the strong hybrid, although I feel the engine is the highlight here. Nissan has done a phenomenal job. However, USA has this some authority which is probing Nissan for engine failures. So yeah, it's not the most reliable engine as such. And talking about reliability, Nissan offers 3 years 1 lakh kilometer warranty, which is not as good as what Hyundai offers, nor as good as what Kia offers. So yes, the warranty could be definitely better in the car, and ADAS works quite well here. You've got adaptive cruise control. Everything is very smoothly ironed out in this car in terms of ADAS. But like I said earlier, ADAS is not offered in India, which is again a shock. I don't know what Nissan is really doing. They should have at least offered ADAS here when it has the hardware. Why not offer it as well? Now obviously, because the engine is not powering the wheels, it's more efficient, because electric motor is more efficient than internal combustion engine. So the amount of power or energy lost is much lesser, and that's the reason it becomes super duper efficient. But it's not really as efficient as you would expect it to be. So that's a little bit of a miss here. Yeah, I expected the efficiency numbers to be better. Not me, anybody who's looking at the X-Trail expects the efficiency numbers to be better. So this car's first generation was launched way back in 2000. And now it's in the fourth generation, which is known as the T33. The India model was the second generation model, and this particular car was launched as the Rogue in the US in 2000. As the X-Trail, it came out in 2021. Now from the third generation model, the X-Trail and the Rogue are similar cars. Yeah, not much difference there. Brakes are actually smooth. Yeah, very smooth brakes here. And stopping power is also decent. You don't really feel the weight under heavy braking. And then obviously I have got B mode, which will turn on regen. And if I click on E pedal, the regen is even more aggressive. Look, I'm not applying the brakes. The car is slowing down quite a lot. So we're going to accelerate, and here we go. Smoothness is something I have to give it to them, but this is not really one pedal driving. The car will not really come to a halt as such. I'll just turn off E pedal because it's a bit frustrating to use it. The various drive modes actually alter multiple things. They alter the engine obviously, and I mean the throttle response and the steering wheel. That's about it, I believe. Nothing else gets altered as such. And in India we also get the paddle shifters because it's a traditional gearbox, a CVT, so you can also make shifts if you like. But the ride here seems to be better than what is offered in India, because we are running on 18-inch wheels right now, but in India we have lower profile tires with 20-inch wheels. Usually it should be the opposite. I don't know why it's not the opposite, because we really don't need low profile tires in India. Our roads are much worse. Which actually brings me to 4 reasons why you should not be buying this car, which I told you in the start, but I did not really explain why you shouldn't be buying this car, so I will do that right away. For starters, this car misses out on a ton of features which you would expect at this price point. Yeah, you would definitely. Okay. You know what? In spite of all that power and torque, it simply does not spin the wheels and make things go hairy, because with an electric motor, torque is just instant, but traction control doesn't get activated, which means that they have really managed to make everything very smooth here. With the dual motor, all-wheel drive capability, it's not really going to go off-road as such. I mean, it's not a traditional 4-wheel drive car because there's no propeller shaft. It enables all-wheel drive by having a rear motor here. And I think the Japanese car makers are doing a phenomenal job by giving us strong hybrids, which is a nice middle ground between full combustion engine and obviously electric. Now obviously this car doesn't really have that soul as such, but it is practical. It is not really fun to drive, but again, I was telling you something about the 4 reasons not to buy. Firstly, the lack of features. No leather seats, no electric seats, no power tailgate. So many features are missing in this car, which is quite baffling. And to top it off, Nissan will definitely price it at a premium because it's coming in as a CBU. They are actually using that 2,500 unit rule wherein you don't have to homologate the car if the car has been homologated in your home country. So that is the route which Nissan is taking right now, which seems convincing enough right now temporarily, but in the longer run this is not a sustainable business model. The problem is Nissan can't go ahead and launch it in India by locally manufacturing, because if they do that they have to use the Renault Nissan plant, which means that Renault should be interested in the same thing as well. And the whole fact of the alliance is that it's made the business model sustainable, but I think Renault is pulling down Nissan in India because Nissan is just not able to bring in newer models, and that is kind of disappointing. Anyways, again I am going away from the main topic of 4 reasons not to buy this car. The second reason is the screen. Why are we getting a smaller screen in India? It makes no sense at all. Whereas globally they're offering the bigger 12.3 inch screen, we are getting the older 8 inch screen, which by the way Nissan has also discontinued in the Juke right now. The Juke used to get that screen in the lower variants, but it no longer gets it because now the Juke only gets this screen. So again, that's another baffling decision. The third is obviously the lack of strong hybrid. If they're bringing in tech, they should bring in good tech. Now, why are they not offering a strong hybrid? Do we not deserve the best of technology? But no, Nissan is like, no, we will not give you that either. And then lastly, no 4-wheel drive either. It's an SUV, right? So it should have 4-wheel drive. But no, Nissan is not offering us 4-wheel drive either. Instead, we are getting front-wheel drive. Now, it obviously has brake locking differential, which is a very basic feature, something which even the Hyundai Creta offers. How does it work? Well, when it detects lack of traction, it will apply brakes to one of the wheels, thereby supplying more power to the other wheel. And that's how it will just help you in tricky situations. All these new off-road modes which are coming in cars like the Harrier, Safari, all these front-wheel drive cars. That's how it works. It's not interesting, but then I mean that's a basic feature which is being offered these days. This car has a 55-45 weight distribution and it is based on the Qashqai's platform actually. So it is the CMF-C platform for which Nissan takes full responsibility, because Renault is working on the CMF-B platform which underpins the Juke as well as the Captur. So they've actually divided responsibilities to ye dekh, main ye dekhunga. This is running Nissan's second generation of the e-power system. And you can feel that it does accelerate very smoothly, which actually brings me to the reason why Nissan is actually launching the X-Trail in India. You see, this particular variant which is being launched in India is being sold in the UK market, but nobody went ahead and bought it simply because in the UK they have low emission zones and ultra low emission zones, and in this particular area if you pass you have to pay a toll and you have to go online and pay it. It's very cumbersome, and it's not on new cars, but once your car becomes old you have to do that. However, if you have an electric car or a hybrid, strong hybrid or a hybrid or anything of that sort, you don't have to pay that. And that's something which citizens of the UK realize, and that's the reason nobody went ahead and bought the mild hybrid at all. Everyone is opting for the strong hybrid purely because of this whole emission tax which is there in the United Kingdom. So now Nissan was left with 150 units of right-hand drive cars which they wondered what to do with, and they realized India is a nice place to dump these 150 units, and that's how those 150 units landed up in India in 3 colors: white, black, and this particular color which is known as champagne silver. So yeah, that's kind of unfortunate how Nissan is actually treating us in India, which is actually sad because the X-Trail is a phenomenal car. It definitely deserves to sell in better numbers. It's smooth, it's refined, it's feature loaded abroad, not in India. But if this was priced aggressively now, it could have sold in good numbers. But as I see it, Nissan dealers are going to sell it at a discount of 10 to 12 lakhs in a matter of a few months, and that is the exact right time to buy the X-Trail, because as I see it right now, just doesn't make sense. And definitely discounts are going to come, but then realize one thing: after sales service is a big challenge, and getting spare parts for this car would be a bigger challenge. And it really makes me feel sad that Nissan is opting for the strategy of giving us Indians subpar cars or subpar variants, because Nissan is a fantastic car brand. The petrol is just amazing, and I will say it. Okay, someone's getting up right now, the alarm is ringing. So I will say it one last time: it is the Nissan GT-R R34 which is better than the Supra MK4. I'm so sorry hurting all you Toyota fanboys there, but that is a fact. Bye bye.